right, Skip, a bit of a different theme song to the Scoop this week. What you got going on there?
Well, it's the old out of sight, out of mind. Haven't seen Clayton a lot, and he's let somebody slip in there with Rebecca Northern here, relative of one of our very own here at IU. Just blast down her little country theme, so we thought we'd let her slide in there. And if you like it, what do you go to?
Check it out, RebeccaNorthern.com.
RebeccaNorthern.com. But don't worry, Clayton, we'll have you back in there next week. This is only a one-week thing.
This past week, Indiana headed to East Tennessee State. Unfortunately, just one win. Let's talk about the weekend and where we're at.
Well, I mean, it was a tough weekend, frustrating weekend for us because I thought we threw the ball, pitched the ball very, very well, and really what we this being a unique show, Kyle, I think what we do is maybe we change our format a little bit here and incorporate some of our pictures in the week to better illustrate how the weekend went. So if you look at this is he's back. He's back. We're going to add a picture here. This is Ross Dickerson. He's making his appearance again. And Ross really kind of is a symbol of what we did well this weekend, which we pitched the baseball. I was very pleased with how he threw it. But here's Ross at Dante's Peak. It's 5,000 feet above Death Valley, a high point. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Now,
metaphors continue.
Metaphors continue because you look at this is Ross throwing his hat down there again. But this was the low point for us right now, Kyle. We're not hitting. We're not firing on offensive cylinders. This is the lowest point in North America here at the Badwater Basin. So I thought, you know what? Why not? Ross sending these two great pictures. What a better metaphor for where we are right now is we're really throwing the baseball well and pitching the baseball. Offensively, we're just not clicking. It was, again, indicative this weekend. Some guys that have hit and are going to hit just aren't hitting right now. And, therefore we had a couple tough one-run losses. And but, again, we're not hitting the panic button. It is, that's baseball. Guys, will come on because, like I said, it's guys that have hit before. Guys that are proven at this level. We do have a lot of young guys, but the hitting is going to come, and that's one of the things that we're going to focus on this week as we go into our practices. You can kind of see here. I mean, we're already it's a daily grind. We've coming in and analyzing the swings from the weekend, as the viewers can see right here, because people want to know, what are you going to do to correct it? Well, what do? Is you take good players with good swings and make sure they stay positive mentally. But as you can see here, we just go over the stuff with the kids and keep on grinding out because we've got good hitters and they're going to hit.
Yeah, it's a really neat program. The first time I saw it was today. Able to take a look at some major league swings, put them side by side with our current guys, and I think it's really helpful for you guys in the coaching and also the players to see what a good swing looks like and what a bad swing looks like.
Yep. Well, and again, all you can do is you keep working, and I'd be panicked a little bit if we had guys that didn't hit or we didn't know. But these, we've got some very good hitters that just aren't hitting right now, and they'll find their groove. So
of course we got Ross Dickerson with his pictures. He's kind of like Brett Favre. We said he retired. He keeps coming back. He keeps swinging around. Of course we appreciate his pictures. We've got some more questions this week too.
We do. Here's from Mark Donato in Jackson, Michigan. Here, will there be any changes in the selection process of the tournament format with the addition of Nebraska to the Big Ten? Nope. As of right now, Mark, they're going to keep it at the top 6 teams will go. It does make it a little bit unique in the fact that everybody doesn't play everybody, and as we pointed out on this show before, IU Purdue we don't play, and Purdue's off to a really good start, but hopefully we get to match up with them and be one of those top 6 teams in the tournament. Another question. This comes from Derek in Bloomington, right here in Bloomington. Love the Scoop, love IU baseball. Thank you, Derek. I saw an article in the AP where the Big Ten might take a look at summer baseball. I know that the NCAA is not willing to move the start date. You're well versed, Derek. From February to accommodate northern teams. And I want to get Skip's opinion to this complicated topic. Derek, it's a great question because I think we're right in the middle of what you're talking about. We're 20 games. Our first 20 games are on the road. And if you had something like this at the Big Ten level, is certainly going to be behind this, where we could play maybe not necessarily the portion of games in the summer, but even if you could do something in the fall that would alleviate what we call that schedule compaction. And Kyle, as you pointed out to me before the show, I think we've got 13 games in the next 16 days. Yep. And I think if anybody, baseball people, sport people in general, if you're playing your first 20 games on the road, we don't like to look at it as an excuse, but it's a disadvantage. You're traveling, you're travel weary. And I like the idea. I do think our commissioner is very strong, and we are looking at some options. Yes, summer ball is an option, but I think a more realistic option that wouldn't upset the apple cart so much is potentially play games in the fall when the weather's good and have those games count towards your RPI, because that's the biggest issue right now is we all get in this because we want to play in the World Series, the College World Series. And right now, if you play games in the fall, those don't count towards your spring RPI, which then help you get into the NCAA tournament for access to the World Series.
Skip, you mentioned the 13 games in 16 days. Certainly a grind on the players. In fact, one of those off days, they're on a plane flying out to California, but it affects the families and coaching staff.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're not home much. That's, my wife probably says that's good. But, you got to catch up. Coach Neal, he's got young family, and it's like romper room in his office here today. Kyle, check it out. You see in here, this is when it's heavy travel time. This is where you get a little family time since, coaches were not home much. Right, Silas?
Say yep.
Huh? What do you say to everybody out there?
Say go Hoosiers. You say go Hoosiers?
Go Hoosiers.
That's what I'm talking about.
Say go Hoosiers.
Go Hoosiers.
What? Go Hoosiers?
Say it.
Hoosiers.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. But this is the home away from home. Get Christine and the boys there, but when we're literally on the road, and I think it's a tribute to what our guys are able to accomplish academically with the missed class time. But I think it fits very well with Derek's question here. Is there's some things in the mix. I would be all for it for sure. I could talk about this topic for days, because I think it's very relevant, and not just missed class time, but also the competitive advantages, disadvantages for certain programs.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, East Tennessee State, a good example. 18 of their first 19 games at home. We're on the road for 20, so certainly an advantage for them.
And it impacts the family too, as we just saw right there. So
got another picture.
Last picture. Yeah, this is great. We got Amy Donato here.
No way would I let this happen.
I don't think I would either. Looks like she's in Las Vegas there with a snake.
Nope, not happening.
Kudos. I mean, that's something I wouldn't do right there, Kyle. No way.
At least she's wearing her Indiana gear in Sin City.
Well, I don't know if that's good either. But that's one of the most clever and unique pictures right there, the Skip Scoop.
And Skip, talk about this photo right here. Talk about opposite ends of the spectrum. You got Chad Clark on the left, barely can get his poor feet down to the bar, and big 6'10" Aaron Slager's on the right, having no problem touching the ground. Pretty funny images while we were eating breakfast this weekend down in East Tennessee State. Tomorrow, Hoosiers head to Louisville, then to Indiana State on Wednesday, and of course the big spring break trip. So, want to talk about those quickly before we start?
Well, I mean, we got, what we try to do is set our schedule up early in the season to where we're playing good competition, and certainly a top 20 opponent, a 25 opponent in Louisville will be a good test for us tomorrow, and then certainly our in-state competitor of Indiana State, always a good program out of the Missouri Valley, and then no rest for the weary. We're right on a plane the very next day, head to California for a 8-game swing, I think it is.
8 games in 9 days.
8 games in 9 days. So we'll have a pretty good idea of the makeup of this team and where the roles shake out as we get back from that trip. And, we've played a lot of tough ball games, still learning about the team. Found out this week, Micah Johnson will be, we potentially lose him for the rest of the year. Sorry about that, Hoosier fans. Micah, preseason All-American, but is going to go under the knife on Wednesday. And through regulations and things, can't necessarily tell you what it is. What is that, HIPAA or HIPAA regulations? Yeah, can't.
An elbow injury.
Elbow injury. It's an elbow injury. But he'll be back and make a full recovery on that. I just don't know if it'll be in time for the season. But we're going to keep working and pound it out and to get ourselves ready and positioned to compete for that Big Ten championship.
We'll see you all next week.
Sounds good. We'll see you next week on Skip Scoop. Tune in. You know what, Kyle? It's coming spring break. We might have to have another hot tub edition.
Oh boy, I'll alert the FCA.
I don't know about that. Well, maybe just tune in and see. See ya.